universities, there is no reason why we must be confined within the narrow walls of our department. These walls must be porous, or must much more porous. We can have committee members, doctoral committee members from other departments. Let us take another example. You will then realize what new methods and materials were used such that in such large numbers Indians acquired English of a kind which gave them place in all walks of life, from ICS to Parliament to Imperial Legislative Council and to universities, and where not. Let us talk of other problems, which linguists alone can solve. The present system of examination began in about early 19th century. At that time, we had a few people, relatively few students, few schools, few teachers, and the proctored system of examination that students write and you supervise began. But today, when every university and every board has hundreds of thousands of students, कहीं मेरी आवाज सुनकर बच्चों को testing can be done today. There is no need for us to be on the head of students and test for 3 hours. We can find methods using which in 10 minutes we can certify that this student knows enough or does not know enough. Okay? Or companies do that. The British Council does that. Australian system does that. IITM does that. TOEFL does that. Why don't we? Last, and then I will, take the prompt that Professor Varsi gave me, because there are other and more distinguished speakers waiting to share their views. There are other kinds of problems which linguists can help with. Let us take the example of the Airports Authority of India. All flights, no matter which company they belong to, and no matter which country they come from or go to, so long as they are in Indian space, they are being controlled by somebody called air traffic controller, who used to go for training in civil aviation English, to either New York or to Manchester or recently to Singapore. It was a wonderful holiday for everyone in Airports Authority of India, particularly the Air Traffic Services Division. At public exchequer, at the expense of government, you have about a week-long stay in one of these places. Your travel is paid for, your stay is paid for, and you get a fee. And if you pass the examination, you come back and then serve your country. It so happened that some of us were aware of it, and we approached the ministry, and the secretary at that time was more inclined to logic, and he agreed with us that teaching of English in India has an older tradition than anywhere else, and he allowed us to do that. Today, no matter, once again I'll say, which country you fly to or from, which company's aircraft you are on, it is being controlled by an air traffic controller who has been trained under the direct supervision of one of your members, one member of the Linguistic Society of India. I am no longer that member. I am retired, by the way. I guess my membership continues. The point I'm trying to make is the following, that we must reinvent ourselves. Last example, I'm just tempted. Today, IT has lots of jobs. And in all of these things, now that chat, GPT is coming, testing is coming, processing is coming, natural language-driven processing is coming in. All of these sectors require expertise in languages. Who is going to do that? It is our duty. We have to do it. We must I hear every day that some department of linguistics is being closed or they are not doing well. Aligarh that way is an exception. Hyderabad is an exception. Usmania is an exception. But not all departments have got as many students. And that is because, unless we do value addition, unless we bring other perspectives, at least at the doctoral level, if not at the master's level, there is no reason why we should not train our students in mathematics so that they can write algorithms for algebraic rules for the tendencies in language. And then, of course, teaching at the most basic grassroots level. A lot of people back home ask me in my village, what are you doing teaching A for apple to kids in the village? I am not teaching A for apple to kids in the village, neither B for ball. I am teaching B for buffalo, okay, and D for dogs. But I am also learning how a child who has no tradition of, no history of a printed book in the family, whose mother washes the tails of the cow and the buffalo, how can she or he, a school dropout, be brought back into the mainstream of education? How they can be taught in under 6 months so that they have some English and then they know how they can go on further. Ladies and gentlemen, challenges are enormous. We don't have enough people. But for anything new to do, we require a little bit of courage, not too much, a little bit of courage, and some intelligence and imagination. I am sure this conference that has been so painfully put together will motivate us to reinvent ourselves. Thank you, Professor Varshi, for the chance you gave me.